Yes
Mark,
po.
ang unang tanong ko sa'yo, sinong mas magaling sa inyo ni Brian?
Mas magaling po. Yung Alas Pilipinas po.
Alas
mas magaling. Yes,
Pilipinas.
kasi team sport po eh.
Oo.
Ang pinakatumatak lang talaga sa isip ko is just to believe in you. Parang believe, pagkatiwalaan mo lang talaga yung sarili mo.
That's why countries like ours, Philippines, has a great potential to become a powerhouse in sport.
All of these sports are becoming a major magnet to evolving the image of a nation and becoming a major catalyst for development of tourism.
It's not just about the event. It's about the lead-in to the event. It's about supporting the teams. It's about providing tools for the younger generations to actually elevate and as well to manage the legacy after.
Does the Philippines have the potential to host the Olympics? Do we have what it takes to be the sports capital of Southeast Asia? Can we host the highest caliber global sports events? And would it be worth the cost? This episode of Homestretch is deeply personal to me as a lifelong dream and advocacy: sports tourism. Sports for youth development, tourism as an economic strategy. Together, they bring pride and joy to Filipinos across the world and unite the country in the love of sport and nation. Join me today in a very special conversation with our courageous Alas Pilipinas, new heroes of Philippine volleyball, with Michael Payne, sports historian and stalwart of the Olympic movement, Valensi, CEO of Volleyball World, and Fabio Azevedo, President of the International Volleyball Federation. This is Pató Gregorio. Welcome to another episode of Homestretch.
Espejo rises. Oh, wow. Boya from defense to offense. Wow. Ybañez with a pass, another pipe attack. Got it. Bagunas now with 4. Spaces to go into. Ajapori is turned away to kick things off. A monster block for the Philippines. For Alas. Oh, what a goal. One set point saved. One more to go for the Philippines. Great pass. Said turned away by Hosapan. Terrific monster block. Locking down El Hassani. On the running attack ties the game at 12. And there he is, Espandiar with a cross-court hit. That dig goes over. Popped up by Ybañez. From the pipe, Espejo knocks it in. Ordiales is a big server. Oh, he went to broke there. He's doing it! He's done it! Leo Ordiales!
Alam mo, kung sa comics may Batman and Robin, sa volleyball meron rin eh. Yan si Brian tsaka si Mark. Ang unang tanong ko sa'yo, sinong mas magaling sa inyo ni Brian?
Mas magaling po. Yung Alas Pilipinas po.
Alas
mas magaling.
Pilipinas.
Yes, kasi team sport po eh.
Oh,
Yeah.
tatanong ko sa'yo kung mas magaling ka ba kay Brian?
Hindi po. Mas magaling si Brian. I mean, may mga kanya-kanya po kaming role sa team. So,
Pero nung nagkalaban ba kayo ni Brian sa UAAP?
yes po, naggabot po kami. Parang 1 year ahead lang po ako sa kanya.
And curious lang ako, sinong nag-champion nung mga panahon na yon?
Nung first year ko po kasi, wala pa po si Brian nun. So, first finals po nung Ateneo yun. First finals appearance. NU po nag-champion. Tapos, the following years po, second, third, fourth year ko po, kami po yung nag-champion.
Champion.
Tapos, nung last playing year ko po, sila Brian ay nag-champion.
Galing ano.
Opo.
So talagang for 5 years, for 4-5 years kayong magkalaban.
Yes po.
Pero ngayon, magkasama, solid sa Alas
Yes
Pilipinas.
po.
So tanungin kita, anong naramdaman mo sa performance nyo, anong pananaw mo sa performance nyo rito sa World Volleyball? Anong naramdaman mo nung medyo masakit na turnaround sa laban natin sa Iran?
Yes po, sobrang sakit po talaga. Parang, kasi, hindi po siya masakit kung hindi po kami lumaban po talaga. Sumakit siya kasi parang feeling namin, nanalo na kami, nag-celebrate na. Tapos biglang, hindi pa pala nanalo. Pero, siguro, nung pre-World Championship po kasi, hindi naman po talaga kami nag-expect na manalo sa ibang teams. Ang gusto lang po namin talaga makaisang set or ma-reach namin yung expectation ng mga fans na manonood na gusto namin sila masatisfied po ba sa performance namin. Pero hindi namin po in-expect na nung third set against Tunisia, lumaban po kami. So parang from doon, nagka-hope po kami na kaya po pala talaga namin lumaban. Tapos nung nanalo po kami sa Egypt, parang feeling namin, parang inside joke nga po namin sa dining hall po. Nung after ng Tunisia, medyo parang pusa lang kami kukumain kasi nahihiya kami sa performance namin. Pero nung after na namin manalo sa Egypt po, parang kaming mga 6-8 na. Parang feeling namin kapatid namin silang lahat. Kasi,
Totoo yun.
Opo, yung parang gain po kami ng confidence.
Ikaw ba naniniwala ka, Mark, na may chance ang volleyball sa Pilipinas, men's volleyball, na mag-compete?
Yes po. As in, marami po talagang players na may potential po talaga. As in, naniniwala po talaga ako na kaya po natin mag-compete sa bigger stage po. Lalo na ngayon ay nasimulan po yung World Championship po dito. I hope from this moment po, magtuloy-tuloy po yung men's volleyball kasi, syempre hindi po naman po dito mag-start kasi parang naglipo tayong super layo kasi may mga SEA Games pa, Asian Games. So I hope from doon magsimula po talaga yung momentum ng team kasi may potential po talaga yung team.
Pero kung bibigyan kitang chance, kung dito sa 32 teams, kung meron kang dream team na sana nakalaban, sino to?
Dream team na makalaban po.
Dito sa mga teams na nandito?
Yes po. Sa akin po Poland po.
Poland?
Yes po. Siyempre, kung nandito ka na, kunin nyo na yung opportunity na makalaban yung rank number 1 sa world po.
And feeling ko, yung Poland, nagsimula rin yan sa isang magandang grassroots,
Yes
di ba?
po.
Kaya natin yan, no?
Kaya po. Opo.
It can be
Kasi
done.
parang sabi nga po ni Brian, parang after po nitong World Championship, naisip namin na mag-retire po. Pero nung na-feel namin na may kaya po pala, parang nabigyan pa kami ng drive pa po sa sarili na ay bawal pa po tumigil. Parang meron pang next, parang ito lang po yung beginning.
Pero para sa isang Marck Espejo, after this, anong plano mo? The next 5 years, anong plano mo, Mark?
For the next 5 years po, siguro, magtutuloy lang po ako sa volleyball po talaga. Like, for this season po, national team, ngayon po tapos na. So, balik po ako sa club. So, after club po, papalit-palit lang po talaga. So, at magtutuloy lang po talaga hanggang, I hope, makasama po 7-year plan po na yun. From 28, 35, kaya pa.
Oo, pwede. So, Mark, ano ang mensahe mo sa mga youth, yung volleyball community, yung volleyball world?
Yes, yun. Sa mga volleyball, gusto po mag-start ng volleyball and naglalaro po sa volleyball. Ang masasabi ko lang po talaga is huwag po talaga silang sumuko sa kung anong gusto nilang gawin sa buhay nila or kung ano yung nagpapasaya po sa kanila. Kasi nung dati po, nung bata po ako, hindi ko rin po ina-expect na abot po ako dito. In-enjoy ko lang po talaga yung volleyball, yung journey po na gusto ko po gamitin yung volleyball para makapag-aral sa magandang school. Tapos sa magandang school po, hindi ko po i-expect na after graduate po, makapaglaro ko sa ibang bansa. So parang from doon po, I hope makita rin po ng mga bata na meron pong pwedeng puntahan kapag naglaro po ng volleyball.
Natupad ang pangarap mo
Yes
at
po.
hindi pa tapos.
Yes po,
Hindi ba?
and
Hindi
start
pa
pa po.
tapos yan. Marami pa tayong mararating, marami pa tayong medalyang papanalunan, di ba?
Yes po.
And tuloy-tuloy lang yan, Mark, di ba? Pangako mo sa akin, look at me straight in the eye, tuloy-tuloy tayo rito, ha?
Yes po. Tuloy-tuloy po.
Tsaka magme-medalya tayo sa SEA Games, ha?
Yes po.
Mabuhay ka,
Tuloy-tuloy
Mark.
po. Thank you po.
Mabuhay ang
Mabuhay
Alas
din po.
Pilipinas.
Yes po.
Complete ng Rappler Homestretch natin. Dumating na si Josh. Josh,
Hello, sir.
ang galing mong libero.
Oh, thank you po.
Ang galing mo. Paano ka ba naging libero at saan mo ba nakuha yung skill mo dyan sa kakatumbling-tumbling?
Actually, that was my original position talaga. Like, way back in grade school, libero po talaga ako. Like, grade 1 hanggang grade 5, I think. Pero nag-try na ako ng spiker nung bata pa, grade 6. Pero high school ulit, pag-proceed ko ng high school, libero po ako and then na-convert ulit ng spiker nung pandemic. And then dito sa UST sa Manila, spiker ako sa UST and actually, pinagdadalawang isip ko pa ngayon kasi dapat maglilibero talaga ako. But then, ayun, naging ko naman yung trust ng mga coaches ko sa UST na maging spiker. So, nag-spiker ako. So, sa Alas naman, convert ako ulit sa libero. So, ayun.
Ano ba ang, para sa mga bata, tsaka mga viewers natin na hindi naiintindihan yung libero, Bakit ba libero? Bakit libero ang tawag?
Di ko alam, pero most likely, libero, ang function niya is maybe the most defensive player inside the court. And sila dapat yung mga dapat pinaka-energetic, nagbibigay buhay, of course, nagli-lead, nagko-command, lalo na sa defense system or pattern ng team. So, ayun. Most likely, nag-receive lang, nagdidig, ayun. Hindi ko pa dapat siya ilang kasi mahirap din po talaga.
Pero ang libero ba hindi nagsiserve?
Hindi po.
Hindi, ano?
Hindi po.
Talagang, kumbaga ba yung mga binigay ng kalaban na bola na parang tila hindi mo na masasagot, mahahabol nyo pa, hahabulin nyo pa, talagang lulusob ka, susubsob ka,
Yes po.
hahabulin mo.
Yes po. Sa kahit anong part ng court, dapat andun kami.
Pero paano ba ang training ng libero? Is it the same? Ang training nyo ba sa libero, pareho ng training ng mga spiker, ng mga setter?
Hindi po. Siyempre magkakaiba ba yun? Kasi ibang department yun and ibang function. So, sila Kuya Bry, yung mga spikers, sila Kuya Marck. Of course, marami silang talon every day. And then kami naman, pinaka-main focus talaga namin is pass and dig. Kasi yun lang talaga yung sobrang malaki makontribute namin sa team. And then the setters, of course, they'll set.
Nakita ko yung sinabi mo sino bang tinalo nyo noon? Si Egypt. At happy-happy ka.
Yes,
Anong pakiramdam noon, Josh?
Sobrang saya talaga. Like, hindi ko ma-explain kung gaano ako kasaya and di pa rin makapaniwala bakit namin nagawa yun. Pero ayun nga, lagi kong binabalikan yung sinasabi ko, pinanindigan ko na sobrang laki ng tiwala ko sa bawat isa sa amin. Kasi alam ko naman kaya talaga namin.
What is your greatest lesson, Josh? Dito sa FIVB World Men's Championship, ano ang pinaka na tumatak sa isip mo?
Ang pinaka tumatak lang talaga sa isip ko is just to believe in you. Parang pagkatiwalaan mo lang talaga yung sarili mo. Kasi, of course, pag naisip namin na malakas yung mga kalaban, malakas naman talaga, given na skilled and parang well-organized yung team, like sobrang established talaga ng mga sistema. But then, naisip ko din kasi na kaya din naman namin. They're humans too, nagkakamali din sila. May mga bad days din sila. Kami din, so ganun. Parang pagkatiwalaan mo lang kung anong potential ng team, kakayanan ng team, and then mangyayari ang gusto yung mangyayari.
So, ito ba, if we can turn back the hands of time na papiliin ka kung anong sport, volleyball pa rin ba ang pipiliin?
Of course, I'd always choose volleyball talaga. Kasi ito yung sport na minahal ko and it brings so much sa family ko, sa akin personally, like mga benefits, hindi ko siya makakuha sa ibang sports.
Hindi mo makukuha.
Yeah.
So talagang you will help convince other young kids to take up the sport.
Yes po, talaga.
Sige, kunyari ako, magulang ako, matangkad yung anak ko, gusto kong gawing basketball player o gusto ko ibang sport. Why volleyball, Josh?
Ayun, siguro I'll convince him na maybe he's the key. Isa siya sa mga mag-iiba ng takbo ng ng estado ng Philippine men's volleyball. So, ayun. I'll convince him na sobrang daming benefits din mangyayari. And of course, but just by showing sa lifestyle or sa achievements nila Kuya Brian, nila Kuya Marck, or kahit sino sa mga teammates ko, I think it's a huge, parang very convincing na gusto mo maging ganito sa kagaya sa kanila, then choose volleyball. Ganyan.
Choose volleyball. Ganda nun Simple-simple, choose volleyball. So, anong plano ni Josh after UST? Saan pupunta si Josh?
Magta-Thailand po ako, magpapakababae. Joke lang. Lang. Magta-transgender, lang. So, di pa naman po, whatever will happen sa future, mangyayari yun, and open naman ako sa kung ano mang mangyayari din.
Pagtibayin niyo yung alas.
Yes.
Para sa Pilipino, para sa bayan, para sa pamilya niyo.
Yes, thank you.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay ang Pinas!
The president of the FIVB, President Fabio Azevedo. The way you are developing the sport of volleyball, I'm beginning to feel and understand that this is one sport that the Filipinos can excel in. Do you agree with that, Fabio?
1,000%. And I mean it. Philippines can become a powerhouse of volleyball in the future. What I saw here of the Alas Pilipinas performing, those kids are heroes. Those kids are legends. Look at that. Those kids are college players.
They
the vast
are
majority of them.
players.
The vast majority of them.
That is why sports is very special.
And that's why countries like ours, Philippines has a great potential to become a powerhouse in sport. You know what? I live in Switzerland, Pato, for 13 years. Sport in Switzerland is very good in the base, and everybody plays sport because sport is accessible, all right? But they do not have this hungry, all right, to become champions. Because they know that they will get a job. That's okay. The life is very stable, all right? Our lives are like this in our countries, all right? And our kids, they have this hungry to help mama. All right? I love it. That's the hunger of helping mama.
To help mama.
And this one is a great potential, great potential. And let's give to those kids opportunities. And that's our obligation. As leaders, all right? You have the government leadership in the country. We have the international leadership in sport. It's our obligation. We are not owners of anything. We are just guardians of sport for a certain period of time. And our mission is to deliver the sport better than we found it. That's it. Simple like that.
And to change the lives of this youth,
Life of people.
especially the marginalized.
Exactly.
And the not so, the people who were born down there, and sports is their way out.
They are not
Because
privileged.
it's a great equalizer. Unbelievable.
That's the power of sport, man.
That is the part. We have very special guests. Michael Payne, the chairman of Volleyball World, and Ugo Valensi, the CEO of Volleyball World. So let me start with you, Michael. Tell me about your background, who is Michael Payne, and your efforts in pursuing tourism in sports.
Like you, my whole career and passion has been with sport, but been with the business of sport. And for nearly 50 years now, I've been at the forefront of staging the major events around the world. Started with the FIFA World Cup, then the Olympic Games, then Formula One, and now volleyball. And looking at how the staging of these great events, which everybody's passionate about, but how they can transform the image of a nation, how they can become a branding tool for a country to change its image. And all of these sports are becoming a major magnet to evolving the image of a nation and becoming a major catalyst for development of tourism.
Fantastic. Ugo, how about you? What is your background, sir?
I've been working in sports for the past 15 years. I've been essentially working in football across Europe, in Asia as well, with the AFC, and I've been working in other Olympic sports, representing athletes in the US, NFL players, golf players, and tennis players. And I have as well worked for the Grand Slams in tennis, managing their overall partnership. I think just echoing what Michael said earlier about the massive impact that these events have locally and internationally. There was just one thought I had in mind before I joined volleyball, working for the Australian Open in Melbourne. Every year, it is quite important to understand the economic impact of such a major event. And this year, out of 2 weeks of the event, there was a direct economic impact calculated at $500 million for the region and the country, right? And the creation as well of more than 3,000 jobs. So that is just one example of how organizing major events can directly benefit the country. One other example is in Paris, in Roland Garros, we had 30% of the people attending the event coming internationally, tourists coming, right? And they come for the experience, but they come from the city, for the country, and organizing major events is a trigger to attract these tourists. You're creating fans of a competition, and these fans, they want to travel, they want to experience the country. So it is really these major events help present the country in a different way and welcome investment from abroad.
Yeah, when we talk about sports, people think it's sports for the grassroots, it's sports for the young kids, and then sports so that one day your athlete you'll see them in the Olympics. in the Philippines, when you talk about sports and tourism, it is something new. But for the longest time, I've been saying, the biggest tourism events in the world are sports events. Olympics, FIFA, volleyball, FIBA, Formula One, and the economic benefit is in tourism, but the excitement and the core memory is in the sports. What is the adjustment in terms of the Olympic movement in hosting Olympics? The reason why I'm asking that is that one day, maybe the Southeast Asian nations can host an Olympics. Maybe the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore. Maybe we can host the Olympics. Is that possible, Michael?
Yes. Short answer, is it possible? Yes. And there is a tremendous amount of fiction and disinformation in terms of the true financing cost of the Olympics. The problem is that countries, governments, use the Olympics, rightly so, for redevelopment. The London Olympics used to redevelop all of East London. That cost a lot of money. But it actually had nothing to do with the Olympics, it was the legacy. And the IOC is introducing new thinking to say that the Olympics should be shared to the nations around the world. And it's not always realistic to think that that maybe there are very few nations who can stage everything. So is it impossible to think about having
Southeast
two or
Asia is something exciting, I think.
I think it's certainly something to look to the future. And I think you would have a very open and interesting dialogue with the IOC, whether you come together with the whole country, whether you come together with one or other partner. Look at the FIFA World Cup. The next World Cup will be in Canada, US, and Mexico. The World Cup after that will be in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. So the European Football Championships taking place all around Europe.
So it's happening now.
There is a definite appreciation that sometimes a regional solution can work.
But Hugo, let me ask you. There's this debate where people say, if you are a weak team, or if you cannot even win a game or reach the quarterfinals, then don't host because you don't excite people. Do you believe in that? Do you believe in hosting, and the hosting should be done by the strong teams?
No, and the reason is that generally for all major sports events, I don't think that hosting the major event is the destination. You need strong leaders that can have a long-term vision of the development of sports and the impact of tourism in the country. So it's not just about the event, it's about the lead-in to the event, it's about supporting the teams, it's about providing tools for the younger generations to actually elevate, and as well to manage the legacy after. So I'm not looking at it just for the performance of the hosting team at a given time, but actually looking at the overall journey, because that's what we need in terms of the courage of the leaders to establish a long-term vision. And so in that regard, it's definitely encouraging for the younger generations to see your own team, your home team playing. And it's definitely creating vocations for the future. And it means that the younger generation are exercising, there'll be more people participating to the sports, and in turn participating to elevating the elite team.
Yeah, I think, Pató, you've put your finger on it, that sport is a tremendous way to excite and engage and motivate people. Suddenly you'll have people engaging, in the schools, and that will have a knock-on effect. And in 4 years' time, you will have more and more people engaging in the sport. Equally, the sense of national pride that the nation can have between The team surprising people on a success, but also pride in successfully hosting the world, in staging a successful championships. There's not always a lot of good news stories out there at the moment. Everybody's, there's a lot of problems. Sport is able to rise above and create stories that people are passionate about. They're fun, they enjoy, it motivates, it's good for the health. So, if you can bring it all together, it's a very powerful package.
Gentlemen, my last question, please. I'll take this opportunity. Give us advice on how the private sector and government can work together to make this work so that we can host more international sporting events.
Well, I would think that it all comes down with the long-term vision. And the long-term vision on the government side to actually have a long-term plan. As I said, it's not about just one event, right? Obviously, some of the interests are clearly aligned because it is about developing the economy, right? And the private sector is interested in obviously growing their revenues and attracting new consumers.
How about you, Michael?
No, I think it is incredibly important to have a public-private partnership. It shouldn't be the sole responsibility of the government to carry all of the heavy lifting. The private sector has an important role to play and an incredible benefit as well, because as you evolve brand Philippines, the Philippine companies are going to be the first beneficiary of that.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Salamat po.
Salamat po. I only have one word to say after that conversation. Believe. Believe in the Philippines. Believe in our athletes. Believe in the power of sports to create opportunities and drive growth. Sports tourism is not an expense. It is an investment. When we host these events, we don't just clap hands and keep the souvenirs. We mine them for long-term opportunities. It is a viable strategy and a big responsibility. And it takes all of us together, public and private sectors, to believe and make this happen. Filipino hospitality has that power. Volleyball is just the beginning. We stand on the threshold of a great new era for Philippine sports and the dawn of a truly exciting legacy. Let us pursue it together. This is Pató Gregorio. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Homestretch.